It's final day of IPC Apex Expo 2023 in San Diego, the last time in San Diego for some time. Joined by Joel and Harald from Co-Young. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you for having us.
Good to see you again.
Likewise.
We spent a few years talking about, well, when things are back to normal and we know how we're coping with this. Well, they're back to normal, aren't they?
It sure seems that way, doesn't it? Yeah, this has been a phenomenal week, and we were very optimistic coming in. We knew that there was basically 2 years of pent-up demand, and people were ready to get out and see what's new beyond looking through a computer screen. So they certainly showed up. We had a very healthy list of customers that we knew were going to be here, appointments, et cetera, coming into the show, and have had a very healthy number of walk-ups. And what I've found is that it feels like people have stayed in the booth longer. They're looking at everything. You know, they're catching up. You know, that's really what they're doing. They're catching up. I'm not coming to look at it. I got to catch up. I haven't seen anything in 2 years. So, it feels good. And we were planning on using this as a bit of a gauge on our optimism for the year, despite everything that we were hearing coming into the year. And again, as we've talked about previously, it seems like we're a bit insulated, you know, from all of that, based on the types of products that we're building, our customers are building, and the needs of the times, right? EV, mil-aero, green energy.
It's a good time to be in this industry.
It sure seems.
Definitely. We have seen the trends during Electronica. There was moving forward here, and I was looking forward to be here and to see, was it spike or
was it really
real trend or will happen. And it's nice to see how busy the show was from our standpoint of view. And I think America and Europe, we have a lot of things in common, especially in electronics needs. And sometimes US is ahead and sometimes Europe is ahead in some decisions and in progresses, but what we can see is the willingness to move forward and to overcome all the as we discussed, component shortage, we're facing transport shortage, we are looking for employees, like we are looking, our customers are looking for, and it looks positive. It looks from our point of view, we don't like to talk about the bad word.
No, but it's officially optimistic. I think that is we can afford to be there.
Harald made a good point. Those were the two qualifiers that we heard all week as well: parts and people, right? But the good news is from our customers' perspective, the orders are there, the backlogs are there. So it's really.
And I think, do you think that is the price we're going to have to pay for it? You know, there's more demand, there's more manufacturers, there's more need. So
in the discussion, it was very interesting. You know, we talked to a lot of people, and yes, it's going forward. But the interesting thing is, beside the machine and interest on the technology, is also more interest on the steering of the production. Like with our key smart, it's just that you don't have the experts, so you need tools to compensate somehow the experts. Then the component size is shrinking, so it doesn't help if you are capable to repair something. It's not possible anymore. So all the aspects we are providing since a few years into the market, it's becoming, let me say, priority was the machine. The machine was, we need a machine. Now, how can the machine be implemented in the big picture of automation, of process and automation, visualization, to close the gap of know-how, because when you can get people, you have to share your resources. So these people have to get better tools to react faster. And I think this was very clear. There was, okay, that's a machine. What's that? And then we spend another time you feel that the trend is accepted, that process control, visualization is part of the solution.
It's really essential. Harald hit on automation, and we talked about nearshoring, reshoring, whatever you want to refer to it as. We're in a very high labor country here in the U.S., Canada, many parts of Europe, Germany in particular. To be successful with that, initiative, we have to automate. And automation, I think it does a couple of things for us, or it comes in a couple of different forms. It's going to relieve the need for the human element, but it's also going to reduce the need for superior expertise in the human element for those that still need to be there in some capacity, and that is through the intuitiveness, through the dashboards, through the information sharing, through the accessibility, as Harald mentioned. That's now what the industry is in need of and expecting. Hey, this is not an option.
No,
you can grow. You can grow without increasing the headcount. Let me say that's maybe kind of linked.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to end up? We've had conversations about lights out factories and all these sort of things, but we're going to end up with some sort of hybrid situation, aren't we, where people are used for different things? And the point you make is great, that people, if they want to bring something into their line, but they want it to integrate straight away, and they want it to work straight away, and they don't want a 6-month training program for their employee, do they?
That's right. It all ties together.
Well, I think what is mentioned, lighthouse factory, sounds weird. On the other hand, you have to understand the next generation of technology we are facing, like the system in advanced packaging, is so small. Look to these fingers. That it's useless to be there. You have to. It's totally different. The next generation of PCBs, smaller, is a different world, and the world has to act different. So we cannot just copy paste what we learned in the past about the PCB. And we are long enough in the business. We know it starts like here, and it's like here, and it gets smaller. But the next one, we humans cannot act on. No. There's limitations, well, and therefore it's a different approach. So, there might be less people in the factories with a higher output, high efficiency. But when it has to be a big picture, it's not just a small decision.
So, i.e. hybrid, as you said. Somewhere in the middle.
So, what are the latest things with Co-Young that you've been talking to customers about?
Well, our focus this week has been on really on our software and our next generation, if you will, GUI, which we're looking to roll out as a common platform across all of our systems. I think we may have touched on that a little bit a few months back when we talked. So that's certainly been a focal point. We see that as a game changer. I think it's going to make us much more responsive, much more agile in the programming space, in the customization space, across the entire product spectrum. And then there's a lot of other elements that will follow on that. So this is the process of looking in the mirror and saying, we need to reinvent, every so often to stay at the top. So we've got people chasing us. You can't rest on your laurels. So that's certainly one area. Obviously, the KPO that we've talked about in the past, process optimizer for both the printer and the mounter, have been featured heavily this week, and we're now to the point where rollout of that printer product for full control of the screen printer for pressure, speed of the squeegee and stencil release is a reality. Right. So the next step is the mounter feeding back to the pick and place system for anomalies, feeder spindle nozzle, positional, closed looping, self-healing, all those things. And then we continue to progress with the development of our K-Smart tools, and that won't stop. We see that as a major game changer. So the next generation of that is forthcoming. We're giving a glimpse, and then finally the dispense process, which has really taken off and has been very well accepted and gotten a lot of attention this week. So we see that continue.
It's interesting as well that I think the software interface side of thing. It's once you get that sorted and all your products are existing within that shared sort of ecosystem, it's a lot easier for customers to get on board with different things, isn't it? And if that can then apply to legacy machines, then they're all in the same realm.
It's right. And when there isn't a side effect, even when we put all our machines together, because we get the information of the machines in between, so we can reutilize it's not just the data from our machine. The data is the result from the process step before, and that is enabling the understanding of the process. And beside our traditional technology, what we talked about, things getting smaller, it's also about the conformal coating. It's with the e-vehicle, there's protective humidity and other things, but also the isolation becomes more. Yeah. And with the new packages combined with the underfill, which is not with a normal solar process, but it's an additional process which guarantees the quality of the board. So it's getting even more process steps into the big picture. Yeah. That is what we have seen, what the people see. Oh, good to have these products now. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But then again, it's more data to be accumulated. It's more data to be shared. It's more data to be utilized, and so our focus is on how do we do that to the absolute, maximum capability, right? And putting attention toward the processing power and transmission speeds and being able to manage that superior data source that we have. And the good news is we've lived in that world for so long now. It's not like we haven't seen this coming. So the R&D teams are squarely focused on that. And
it's exciting times, isn't it? A lot. The speed of change of innovation is white hot now.
Who'd have thunk it?
Definitely.
10, 15 years ago, right? So it just seems like it's just hockey sticked on the curve. Yeah, certainly in the last 4 to 5 years, maybe even less. So
I think you're right. Yeah. And I think I don't know. The sort of COVID thing of people working slightly differently. We laugh that every business describes themselves as being adaptable and agile, but that found out if you really were.
It fueled the digitalization, and that feeds back into what we're doing. It's not only in the how we communicate world but it's also in how we manage data and what we can do with it.
Yeah. And I think you get a nice comment. We get used to, but it also proved that the remote access to data is also worth to control the environment. We have a customer who said, and I won't believe that I can control the production line from home. And it sounds strange, but he said, I could access all data, I take the phone, adjust, corrected it, and he was very happy that he had this access. Yeah. So it proves us in the conceptual way also. It was necessary to do, and now it becomes good proof of concept.
Yes, it is pretty incredible that you can probably find out more about your line more quickly from a remote location than you could by walking up and down that production line itself.
Mind-boggling. 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Well, it'd just be one of those other fantasies we were talking about. It's really here now. So, and it's great to see that companies are sending several people. You don't just one person turn up from a company. There's several people that come along. Students. Today there's a lot of students walking around.
Big groups. So it seems also that no longer the budget travel restrictions. So we had travel restriction and we have budget travel restriction, and I think it's also obvious that it's open-minded to look around and see what's going on and how to.
It vindicates the value of these shows, doesn't it?
I absolutely believe
people
that.
Wouldn't have come back if there wasn't a need for them. So.
That's absolutely true. And again, having that 2-year setback, created, I think, again, that demand, that need to get out and touch it, see it, and feel it, talk directly to not only the application staff, but the design teams behind it, right? What are they doing? What are you working on next? So, it's been really strong. And as Cyril said, we've had anywhere from 1 to 10 people from a single company, and I would say for the most part, there's been a minimum of 2 with just about everyone that's come to the booth. So,
fantastic.
Very nice.
Thanks. It's a pleasure as ever to talk to you.
Pleasure's ours.
See you again in Nuremberg or Minneapolis again? Or?
See you in Nuremberg.
Or Productronica, right? That's,
definitely Productronica. Definitely Productronica will be the little big show.
I remember when
plan a
Minneapolis is in. I think it's back to October. I can't keep track of it all.
Yeah, it's moving. Anaheim here next year.
That's right.
Well, thanks for spending time. Good to speak to you.
You're welcome.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for your
Thank you.
time. Good.
Thank you.